Now in the series of type of orbit, here I am talking about another classifications with respect to centric. The classifications according centric orbit. So what is the first classifications we talking about here? Galactocentric orbit. The orbit around the center of galaxies is known as galactocentric orbit, and this orbit followed by our sun. Now the second one is heliocentric orbit, orbit around the sun, and this orbit followed by our planets like Earth, Mars, Venus as well. Geocentric orbit, orbit around the earth like this orbit followed by our moon as well as many artificial satellites. Seleноcentric orbit, orbit around the earth's moon. Ariocentric orbit, orbit around the Mars like its moon, Mars moon, and many Mars artificial satellites follow this orbit. Hermiocentric orbit, orbit around the Mercury. Cytocentric orbit, orbit around the Venus. Genocentric orbit, orbit around the Jupiter. Chronocentric orbit, orbit around the Saturn. Uranocentric orbit, orbit around the Uranus. And Positocentric orbit, orbit around the Neptune. And the last one is heliocentric orbit, orbit around the Pluto. So this is all about classifications with respect to centric orbit.